कदाचित् कालिन्दे तटविपिन संगीत करवो मुदा भीर्नारी वदन कमला स्वाद मधुपः रमा शम्भुर्ब्रह्मा सुरपति गणेशार्चितपदो जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी भवतु मे कदाचित् कालिन्दे तटविपिन संगीत करवो मुदा भीर्नारी वदन कमला स्वाद मधुपः रमा शम्भुर्ब्रह्मा सुरपति गणेशार्चितपदो जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी भवतु मे जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी भवतु मे जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी भवतु मे
With every stone laid, a dream takes flight as knowledge blooms, guiding us through the night. A very jubilant and blissful good afternoon to everyone. I extend my heartiest greetings and a warm welcome to our esteemed dignitaries and all the members of the DAV Parivar to the 53rd foundation of our very own, our priceless and most valued abode of learning, the DAV Public School, Unit 8. 53 years of diligence, dent, sweat and smiles. We remember the day we started so that we don't forget. Though we had minor altercations to the existing schedule for the day, we carry on. As everyone knows, the show must go on. And in order to invoke heavenly blessings, may I request the dignitaries to please step forward and light the holy lamp for beginning the ceremony. Sir, please. Ma'am, please. May I request all the students to please stand in honor of the program of this lighting of the lamp.
सञ्जाते अग्नौ प्रज्वलितदीपम् दीपाज्योतिः नाशयति तमः यज्ज्योतिः ज्ञानम् उदयकारकम् नमामदेवः त्रितापहारकम् ॐ वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा
Thank you, sirs, ma'am. Having invoked the blessings of the Almighty, may I request everyone to keep standing for, in honor of our DAV anthem.
अविरल निर्मल सलिल सदय ज्ञान प्रदायिनी ज्योतिर्मय हो चहु दिशि उद्घोष अभय दिए विजय जय दिए विजय जय प्रबल प्रवाहमयी नित नूतन जीवन दायिनी सदा सनातन वेद प्रणीता परम पुनीता वेधारा अक्षय दिए विजय जय दिए विजय जय दयानंद से प्रेम भक्ति ले हंसराज से त्याग शक्ति ले धर्म भक्ति का राष्ट्र शक्ति का हो दिन मान उदय दिए विजय जय दिए विजय जय सुख समृद्धि इसकी लहरें प्रेम शांति इसके तट ठहरे सघन शांतिमय प्रबल क्रांतिमय लिए अटल निश्चय दिए विजय जय दिए विजय जय।
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. As I mentioned earlier, 53 years of diligence, 53 years of persistence, 53 years of perseverance, and finally, today, we stand here to celebrate. Let's hear a round applause for our school first. Let's all give a round, jubilant applause for our own very school first. Once again, one applause for the DAV institutions, because together we stand and rise. Thank you. We are what we are today because we had the wise, scholarly people, leaders, to guide us through all the thicks and thins of our school, through all the ups and downs of our school. We are inspired by people who are around us. One such personality is amongst us today, Honorable Chairman SMC of DAV Public School CDA and Tangi, Professor Dr. Omkar Nath Mohanty. Sir is also one of the esteemed members of our school managing committee. May I invite you, sir, onto the dais? I'm sorry. That's a mistake. How can we start a program without a very appropriate welcome to the audience? So let's put our hands for the school choir and listen to their melodious welcome rendition.
बादल अमृत बूंद
That was indeed a very heartwarming and touching welcome to all of us. Now, allow me to pick up from where I left. We, we achieve success, we achieve recognition only when we inspire from those who have worked hard before us, toiled harder before us, and today stand in a pinnacle of success. So, as I had informed the audience earlier, we have one such very eminent and inspiring figure amongst us, none other than Professor Dr. Omkar Nath Mohanty, the chairman of the School Managing Committee, DAV Public Schools, CDA and Tangi, and also, of course, one of the esteemed members of our own school managing committee. So, sir, may I please request you to address the audience with your pearls of wisdom. Sir, please.
Good afternoon, everyone present here. I have in front of me a galaxy of personalities who are extremely important, not just for the field of education, for our entire country also. We have with us, as a guest of honor from outside I mean the DAV circuit, Sri Sudhanshu Shekhar Mishra ji, namaskar, welcome to our midst. He is the regional passport officer of Odisha. We have with us Sri Madan Mohan Panda ji, who is actually the Bhishma Prapitamaha of the DAV movement in Odisha. Welcome also. And Dr. K.C. Satpathy, the very epitome of education in Odisha, and the DAV movement which is going on with great impetus. He is the champion of that. Mrs. Satpathy, the soulmate of Dr. Satpathy, is here. Welcome you also, madam. Mrs. Pratibha Mishra, namaskar, and she is a pillar of strength to the children who are here and in all other schools also. Dr. Sujata Sahu, who is now the RO, or regional officer of the DAV, and also herself the principal of the DAV Chandrasekharpur. And Mrs. Madam Ipsita Das is the principal of this school, DAV Unit-VIII, is also an ARO. We have a number of principals from various DAV schools of Odisha. Welcome to you. Well, I am actually taking upon myself what can I say? I can empower myself to welcome, although I am standing here also as a guest after the wonderful song we all listened to, and we saw it being rendered so beautifully by the children, the welcome song. I was actually moved, very much touched by the welcome song which was put up for all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm standing in front of you essentially as somebody, I don't think it was scheduled previously, but I'm standing in front of you essentially to share some of my thoughts for today. And I think it is exactly the right moment when our chief guest, Mr. Malay Mishra, is entering. So Malay Babu, we welcome you also to our midst. I'm very glad that I have just begun when our chief guest, Mr. Malay Mishra, has just arrived. And as I was trying to tell you that I feel honored and privileged to be standing in front of you, essentially to share some of my own thoughts on this occasion. And the obvious thought is when the school, such as DAV Unit 8, which has completed 53 years, I actually represent all of you when I say that good luck to the school, good luck to the children who are coming out of the portals of the school now. For the next 50 years, you have completed 50 years. And I was trying to find out where was I myself in 71 when you started. So I was trying to find that I was possibly just taking off from Bhubaneswar or IIT Kharagpur on my way somewhere to Europe. And uncertain world, uncharted world. And that is how I was moving in 1971. So that was a long time back. And the school has actually made strides, waves after waves, because there are children from this school who have gone into all walks of life and society. And you have made a mark. Your alumni, they have made a mark for themselves. They have made the school proud, they have made the parents proud, the society proud, and of course, Odisha also proud. We are aware that DAV school in general in India has produced innumerable leaders in all walks of life. Ladies and gentlemen, and particularly my young friends who are present here, I was always wondering actually, not trying to just spread the message. Having been a teacher all through my life, but for the elder children or the older children, I always used to wonder that the young ones, when they go through the hands, the moldable children, when they go through your hands, meaning the teachers, this is also an occasion where we should remember. I would like to pay our gratitude and appreciation to all teachers who have handled the kids for the past 50 plus years. That is the most important part, because the children are molded by them. And this molding that we are talking about, I must use a pawn here, the way I think, from a MOULD, probably it is MOLD also. When the molding goes on, meaning MOLD, we are all aware of the molding of the reptiles, for example. But the molding of the children is almost like the molding of the metamorphosis of the caterpillar to butterfly. The caterpillar to butterfly, we are told, is a painful exercise. It is not just painful, it is one of the wonders in the biological world, because no part of the organs in a caterpillar remain in their same position when it is converted into a butterfly. Much the same thing takes place when you children, today when we were coming to this hall, the principal was showing to me the very small children, and I was telling that the eggs are hatched, and I could see the chicken coming out of that, a lovely chicken, and they were all looking so small. They are of course small. And given another 15, 20 years, ma'am will be looking at them, and they would all be people in the society to reckon with. And that's the kind of feeling I have today. One other thing, the children who are present here, and I would like to remind myself as much as to you, we are living in a world which is complex. But are we aware of the fact that scientifically, today we are also living in a world, perhaps it is prone to all kinds of apprehensions. I'm obviously referring to the climate change, and I'm not trying to be cynic to say that the disaster is waiting to happen. Yes, the disaster can happen unless we are very careful. The scientists tell us we are past the peak. Those of us who know a bit of materials or chemistry or whatever, we say passing the peak essentially thermodynamically tells us the process is irreversible. We cannot bring back perhaps the nature back to the place where it was maybe 50 years back or 40 years back. All we can do is the rate at which it is falling or the climate disaster is going to happen, that can always be checked to an extent. So therefore, the responsibility of that is in our hands. Odisha itself is a land in which great natural resources are there. Whether it is Bhitarkanika or Chilika, which are Ramsar sites today, waiting to become the World Heritage Site in the natural sense. By the way, we have just one heritage site, which is not a natural one, which is Konarka. But we also have Chilika and Bhitarkanika, which have not yet come to the World Heritage Site status. The responsibility of doing that is in our hands. So the climate, etc., is extremely important. And climate cannot happen merely by going to the temples or to the mosques or to the churches. So therefore, the way we can handle that scientifically is in your hands, in our hands. The second thing is, which is also another cliche, unfortunately it has become a cliche, we always talk of the demographic dividend for the past several years. Demographic advantage, yes, but it will become a dividend, advantage essentially in terms of age. But is that a true advantage? We have to ask ourselves. Demographically, yes. But if you want to convert that into a dividend, then once again, the responsibility is in the hands of our young children, because the future is in your hands. The future is in our hands, your hands. Actually, our hands are to shape, or to the extent possible, to show the path, and it is the future is in your hands. I can see the bright eyes here. I have no doubt that India's future is absolutely safe in your hands. We don't have to go very far. Almost every day we are listening about the American election which is going to happen. It is great news that one Indian is making waves after waves, and we should all be proud. So the American situation or the Western situation, there is no dearth of examples. If we talk of the Sundar Pichais of the world, the Google chief is not just the Google chief, the Alphabet chairman. If we talk of Satya Nadellas of the world, he is not just the CEO, he is the chairman of Microsoft. If we talk of Aravind Krishnas of the world, he is not just the CEO of IBM, he is the chairman of IBM. And I can see many of you are seated in this room. Each one of you is potentially any one of them. Incidentally, Sundar Pichai was our student in IIT Kharagpur, in the metallurgy department. From a metallurgist, if he can become Alphabet chairman, so you can become anything. Provided you have this future in front of you and you know that you have the aspiration to rise. So therefore, all I am trying to say is, we have all the potential. Now it's a question of converting all the pluses into reality. Thank you very much. I'm sure schools such as these will pave the right path for you all. Good luck to you all. Godspeed. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words to us. And indeed, we are blessed to have you among us and to listen to you and your words of wisdom. If your actions inspire others to learn more, dream more, and become more, you are truly an inspirational leader. We are extremely fortunate and blessed to have our own leader among us, our very own principal ma'am. I request ma'am to come to the dais to render her welcome address. Ma'am, please.
There is always a delight in disorder. And the disorder that occurred around 2 hours back has also a delight with it. And maybe that is how and why we have got an opportunity to listen to another eloquent man of wisdom, none other than Professor Omkar Nath Mohanty. Sir, we are extremely thankful to you. To quote from the Vedic scripture of Atharva Veda, all of you might have read one single line printed in the invitation card of the school on the occasion of the 53rd Foundation Day. That's a quote from Atharva Veda. Krutang me dakshina haste, Jayo me sabya ahitaha means we have self-efforts karma on our left hand and we have victory on the right. Yes, all that efforts we have been putting for the last 53 years, starting from 1971 till today, have enabled us to celebrate this very day, rejoicing our success despite all the turmoil that we had to witness during the yesteryears. Today, as I stand on this dais in the August morning, I feel nostalgic to recollect the memories of both sunshine and rain, the canvas of this premier educational edifice being painted with vibrant hues, carrying with it whispers of hope and promise. I am doubly sure that this time again, for a fresh start, it's time again, a chance to write a new chapter in the history of DAVUNIT-VIII Bhubaneswar. Good morning and namaskar. I feel extremely humbled to extend a warm cordial welcome to everyone who are here with us to be a part of this glorious occasion of celebrating 53rd Foundation Day of the Alma Mater. On behalf of the entire school community and management, we are extremely honored to have amongst us today a global citizen, a thought leader, Ambassador Dr. Malaya Mishra, IFS retired, who has been kind enough to accept our request to deliver the Foundation Day lecture. I'm sure his vast experience as an Indian diplomat, subsequently coupled with his love for academics and spiritual studies, is going to leave influential imprints in the minds of my young audience, my dear students, and all invitees here assembled in this hall today. From the core of our hearts, we welcome you, sir, with folded hands. To grace the occasion today, we have with us our former chairman of the school managing committee, Sir Sri Madan Mohan Panda, a name that is synonymous with the development of this institution, not for a day or two, or a year or two, it's for almost 2 decades, starting from 2001 to 2020. We welcome you, sir, on campus of this school. We are touched with the gracious presence of Madam Srimati Pratibha Mishra with us today to be a part of this glorious celebration, along with late Sri Sharat Chandra Mishra. She has always been a strong pillar of strength and support for the entire DAV family. We welcome you, madam, on campus of this school. At the same time, the person who has been gracious enough, cordial enough to bless all of you on this historic moment is a man who happens to be, to whom we can take for granted all the time, a very knowledgeable and man of wisdom, Professor Dr. Omkar Nath Mohanty, the chairman of the school managing committee of DAV Public School, CDA and Tangi, and of course, one of the esteemed members of the school managing committee of our school. We welcome you, sir, on campus of the school, even though we have already listened to you. This very Foundation Day celebration is not a celebration of a single institution. It is the celebration of the unstoppable spirit of DAV movement, raising a single number way back in 1971 to nearly 60 in 2024, creating a saga of inevitable academic legacy to which the rest of the country looks up to with deep sense of appreciation and admiration. Yes, I am talking about our esteemed regional director, Dr. K.C. Satpathy, sir. We welcome you, sir, on campus of the school, and thank you so much for joining us right from the morning and conducting the Vedic Havan in the greater well-being of all of us. We are equally delighted to extend a cordial welcome to Madam Srimati Basanta Manjari Satpathy, who always stands with us during our thick and thin. We welcome you, madam, on campus of this school. And on this very day, while celebrating the occasion, we miss the presence of our most enthusiastic chairman of the school managing committee, Sir Sri Santosh Upadhyay and Madam Upadhyay amidst us today due to their unavoidable assignments. But I feel we always carry his blessings in all our small and big endeavors. The beauty of this celebration has been multiplied with the benign presence of Madam Dr. Sujata Sahu, Principal Kamaro DAV Public School, Chandrasekharpur, Dr. D.N. Mishra, of course our neighbor, Principal DAV School of Business Management, Principal colleague of mine, Mr. Bipin Kumar Sahu from DAV Pokriput, Mr. Balda Mahapatra from DAV Kalinganagar, Madam Binodini Das from DAV Public School Tangi. Our eventful journey so far could be managed so well with all your love, goodwill, suggestions, and unconditional cooperation during all our hours of need. We roll out a red carpet welcome to each one of you. Members of the school managing committee, members of the parent-teacher coordination committee, faculty members of the sister concern, our proud alumni, all our well-wishers, esteemed parents of special invitees, and of course, to make a mention, the presence of Sri Sudhanshu Shekhar Mishra, the regional passport officer, my own team, and above all, the most coveted audience, my students of grade 10th and 12th, of course, 8, 9, and 10. A felicitous greetings on the occasion of the 53rd Foundation Day of the school. With the profound blessings of Lord Jagannath and timely support and unconditional cooperation of all our worthy stakeholders, we have been able to stand tall, upholding the Vedic values and ethics of DAV, producing seasoned human beings year after year with 42 batches of class 10th and 39 batches of class 12th passing out from the school portal successfully, subsequently positioning themselves in the arena of academics, administrative services, medicines, judiciary, science and innovations, etc. They have also made their distinct mark as entrepreneurs in the field of glamour, politics, cinema industries, sports, journalism across the globe. Our proud alumni spread across the globe have added value to the life of this alma mater. We dedicate this very day in honor of them. Our day has started with a sacred Vedic Havan today. I have already made a mention, purifying the body and mind and soul of all the people present on the campus. In line with NEP 2020, to engage our students through collaboration and connection, through emotions, in the morning we have invited one of our alumni, an acclaimed storyteller, Madam Jhanja Das, to deliver and mesmerize the primary students of the school through a story. We are quite concerned for the social commitments too. As a part of the Foundation Day celebration, there is a blood donation camp going on in the school. Right now, till I came up to the stage, we have already collected 105 units and we have more to go. And I am thankful to the parents and the staff who have volunteered for this noble cause. We are also thankful to the director of Capital Hospital Bhubaneswar and his entire team for extending all support for the same. At the same time, I am also equally grateful to the authorities of Sunshine Hospital Bhubaneswar, Dr. Ayaskant Mahanti, and his team for organizing a free health checkup camp for our staff today. Of course, the sole initiative for this health camp being taken by our alumnus, Mr. Gaurav Das. With all humility, we express our deepest gratitude and thanks to the print and electronic media for always giving a wide publicity to all our events and achievements around the year. We do welcome the media personnel present here on our campus today. Rest of my students out there in their respective classrooms who are witnessing the live streaming of this momentous occasion, it's time to realize the importance of the occasion, how precious the life of your alma mater is, and to place your commitment to give back to the society with each passing day of your life. Our students are our most prized possessions, and they will remain so till our last breath. I convey my warmest love and blessings to each one of you, those who are present in this very hall and those who are there in their classrooms. To quote a few lines again from the Samaveda, being translated into English, life devoid of struggle is a life bereft of happiness, because the value of happiness is realized only after the pain. We celebrate today because of the painstaking efforts of all our predecessors, be it students, teachers and staff, principals, parents, school management, and many other unsung heroes down the memory lane. We pray for their well-being wherever they are. Let us together embrace the magic of August on this very August afternoon, where dreams take a flight on wings of determination. Let our alma mater whisper the tales of resilience and growth, just not today, but for days to come, draping the world with its golden glow forever. Once again, a radiant welcome to the chief guest of the day and all other distinguished dignitaries for being here with us today to be a part of this 53rd Foundation Day celebration of DAV Public School Unit 8 Bhubaneswar. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Your cordial words of welcome have really set the tune of this stupendous occasion. On this moment of rejoice, we are truly honored by the presence of our chief guest, Honorable Ambassador Dr. Malay Mishra. Words fall short to describe and introduce a person with such an enigmatic personality. And yet, I try here to apprise the audience with a Master's in Political Studies and Master's of Philosophy in International Studies from the prestigious Jawaharlal Nehru University, Dr. Mishra secured a position in the ranks of the much acclaimed Indian Foreign Service, with postings in France, Senegal, Mauritius, USA, Iran, Germany, Seychelles, Trinidad and Tobago, and Hungary, with ambassadorial positions in his 3 last postings and several important assignments at headquarters and overseas, spanning a diplomatic career of 37 years, including a 3-year stint with the Ministry of Overseas Indian Affairs. He has been actively involved in formulating policy for the Indian diaspora. As he moved up the diplomatic ladder in different positions, his interaction with various political streams helped him gain an eclectic and interdisciplinary knowledge, which also formed his early worldview. After his retirement from active diplomacy in 2015, Sir moved into academics and spiritual studies. His interest in academics earned him a PhD in social justice marginalization studies from the Corvinus University, Budapest in September 2020. Dr. Mishra is currently active as a foreign policy analyst and research scholar, and in that capacity has contributed scores of articles on India's foreign and social policies as well as global diplomacy. Of late, he had started syndicating his articles for the English as well as vernacular press in India. He has also delivered lectures on a wide range of issues covering foreign policy and international relations, politics and governance, social justice and political economy, besides pursuing in-depth studies on spirituality. Might I mention here, while he was head of mission in Budapest, he had established a Vedanta Society of Hungary and promoted Vedic studies and Ayurveda. Sir wishes to make a humble contribution to the society as a thought leader while pursuing his passion for acquiring and disseminating knowledge. It is in the spirit of intellectual philanthropy that he has opened a public library with a current roll of 350 members at his residence. He also mentors students to seize job opportunities and pursue higher avenues in life. Ambassador Mishra aims to expand the horizons of his educational outreach and act in an advisory capacity to promote intensive skill-based English learning in educational institutions of Odisha. Besides, expanding the library to a foundation to undertake multifarious activities in the promotion of education, culture, heritage, and spirituality is also among his many plans for the future. Sir, we are indeed blessed to have your august company today on this splendid occasion. Having received this impressive information about our illustrious guest, let me not be a bar between him and the audience and humbly invite, with a huge round of applause, the distinguished diplomat and academician, our chief guest of the day, Honorable Ambassador Dr. Malay Mishra, to deliver the Foundation Day lecture. I request the members of the school cabinet to escort him to the dais. Sir, please.
Oh, Jai Jagannath. Respected dignitaries attending this very special 53rd Foundation Day of this distinguished DAV school, the first DAV school of Odisha, Professor Omkarnath Mahanti, Dr. K.C. Satpathy, Sri Madan Mohan Panda, my friend and relative Pratibha Mishra, my colleague Sudhanshu Sekhar Mishra, the RPO Bhubaneswar, all those ladies and gentlemen who are in front of me, whose name may I have omitted, but please forgive me for that. Students, parents, teachers, and all other guests present on this occasion. Today morning, I happened to see the Indian Express, which I get in my house, and I had chance to read an advertisement of today's function in the Indian Express, and my heart lit up when I saw the board Om written on the school. I was trying hard to see that, but maybe one has to go back a little more to see it. Om comes from one of the most special Upanishads called Mandukya Upanishad. Goes by the founder of that Upanishad, sage Manduka. It is believed to be the most primordial sound of Vedic knowledge. We all know every occasion, every ceremony, every auspicious event in our lives, for Hindus particularly, start with this very, very important Ucharan, Om, which consists of 3 syllables, A-U-M, as you all know. This has been interpreted in various ways, but one of the most common ways of interpretation is that Om stands for pure consciousness, that as human beings, we need to elevate ourselves to a higher stage of perfection. And these are 3 stages of consciousness. One is when we are conscious, physically conscious, when we are awake, like now you are all awake. The other is going into the next stage, which is called the stage of dream, which is also a real stage, as the other stage is. Because in dream state also, whatever you see, whatever you dream, seems to you real. The third stage, which is AUM, is what we call deep sleep, when you are completely unconscious. Your consciousness is not there. That is the stage. And this leads to another stage called Turiya. Turiya means when you are approaching what we call realization, self-realization, nirvana in Buddhist terms, where following Om, there is a deep silence, which is called the silence of the soul. And that is where we connect ourselves as Atman with Paramatman in this process of self-realization. This is the most important shabd in Vedic philosophy. So when I saw this Om written all over the place, here on the stage, up on the board, I really felt honored that I have come to a place which is based upon the teachings of the Vedic ideals, founded by one of the greatest makers of New India, Dayanand Saraswati, who lived in the 19th century, who rode the crest of the initial wave of Indian Renaissance. We all know about Dayanand Saraswati ji. I saw his picture somewhere here. Yeah. His biggest contribution to the history of India has been the setting up of the Arya Samaj. Arya Samaj, in 1875, he set it up. Again, another contribution of his is that he was the first person in the history of India to have brought in the concept of Swaraj. He was the first person to say that Indians need a Swaraj. Of course, later on, Swaraj was popularized by Bal Gangadhar Tilak when he uttered these famous words, "Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have it." But Swaraj actually was initiated by Dayanand Maharshi. His another great contribution is to bringing India together, regenerating the patriotic spirit of India through various ways. And one of the principal ways for him was through education. His contribution to the growth of education in India has been seminal among all the makers of India of the 19th and 20th century, because he felt that education can regenerate the downcast Indian spirit. Downcast, I say, because the Indian spirit had undergone decades of slavery or bondage by the colonial power. And we had lost our voice. He wanted to give the Indian people a voice. And he said he popularized Hindi as the medium to express oneself, as the lingua franca. And if there is one man who has contributed to making Hindi sort of a national language of India, it is Dayanand Saraswati, first of all. He was not a Hindi-speaking person. He was a Gujarati. He came from Kathiawad. But for him, Hindi was important because Hindi could unite people. At least in northern India, that belt where Arya Samaj became very popular. So he popularized Hindi. He wrote several books. Satyat Prakash is his most important seminal work. He wrote many tracts. His contribution to Indian philosophy has been immense, and particularly to the spirit of the Indian soul. His contribution has been tremendous. Since today is the 31st foundation day, 53rd foundation day of this school, founded in the year 1971 by one of the most brilliant luminaries of post-independence India, Dr. Ajudanath Khosla, then governor of Odisha. It goes without saying that DAV school is one of the most excellent educational institutions of not only Odisha, but India. And I'm happy and honored to be delivering this Foundation Day address. I was just thinking to myself, what should be the topic of my elocution today? Because the world is so conflicted today. The world is so divided, so divisive, so negative, that what to tell young students like you about what you experience in the world, how you relate to this world, how you feel about it. Because unlike us, when we were growing up, we didn't have so much of exposure to technology, to social media, to television, to telephone, to mobile, to internet, to computer, to artificial intelligence, to ChatGPT, to Internet of Things. All those things were not known to us. And I would say that was a happy time. Those of us of our generation and above, I think that was a happy time. That was less complicated. That was a less complex society when we grew up as students. Today's students are confronted with a lot of these situations where they don't know how to react, how to agitate, how to build themselves up in a positive spirit, in a scientific spirit, how to marry, how to mesh the technological discoveries and findings with their discovery of the world. It's a very difficult thing. But let us go over certain important leaders and educationists who have enlightened us by defining various aspects of education. Starting from, of course, Dayanand Maharshi, who spoke of character building, of patriotism, of regenerating the nation through education and through seva and through community building. We have Vivekananda, Swami Vivekananda, another brilliant star in the Indian firmament, who traveled far and wide in his attempts to bring the West closer to Eastern thought. And his famous words were, "Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. Uttishtata jagrata, prapya bara nivadata." This comes from another great Upanishad called Kathopanishad, which is basically a dialogue between a young child, a young seeker called Nachiketa, and a teacher who is death personified, Yama. This is a dialogic Upanishad, and as you know, we have 108 Upanishads, out of which about 11 or 12 are the main ones. Upanishads are basically what we call Vedant. And Vedas, at the end of Vedas have two parts. One is the Karmakand part, which is the first part, and the second is the Gyan part, which is the Gyan, which is basically the philosophy part, which we call as Vedant or Upanishads. Upanishads also means literally sitting at the feet of the master, like we used to have Gurukul those days where students learnt at the feet of the master. Translating those Vedic ideals into the modern age, that what Sir said about metamorphosis, I would call it a transformation. I would call it an inner transformation. Inner transformation when you really have the means to look at the world in your own perspective, in your own way. And Vivekananda's theory was that education should make you stand on your own feet, should make you confident, should make you fearless, should bring in you a character, a dignity, a sense of dignity, so that you stand up tall in any assembly, anywhere in the world, and say that you are proud to be an Indian, you are proud to belong to that heritage, which is a civilizational heritage. That was Vivekananda's contribution. Rabindranath Tagore, Gurudev as we say, he said, education is not to be confined to the classroom. He hated to go to a classroom and study. For him, his parents were keen that he goes to a school. He refused to go to a school. He said, this is not true education. He said, true education is learned when the mind is in harmony with nature. He built a school called Chanting, which is very close to Kolkata. It's about maybe 300 odd kilometers. If you go there, you will see, even now, students learning under the shade of the trees. They have classrooms, but they have also outside, classroom settings where the teacher is teaching from a board under a tree and students are assembled around it. That was Tagore, where man is in harmony with nature. Come to Radhakrishnan, Dr. Radhakrishnan, the most famous educationist who rose up to be the President of India in 1962. In fact, the story goes that when he became the President, some of his friends and associates came to him and said, sir, we would like to celebrate your birthday because you have become the President of India, which is coming on September 5, as you all know. He said, no, instead of celebrating my birthday, celebrate September 5, which is my birthday, as Teachers' Day. I dedicate this day to the teachers of India. And he said, teachers should be the exemplars of the society. Teachers should reflect the societal values. They should hold a mirror to the society in serving as examples to the students. So I call upon the teaching community here who is assembled here that you have a great responsibility. You are forming human minds, human brains out of clay. When a small child comes to the school, and I know that this school starts from nursery class and goes up till the highest, class 12 and all. So when the child comes to the nursery and he grows up in the school, he's always surrounded by his peers as well as teachers who are guiding him at every moment. They are putting shape to the clay which he is, which he or she is. So he is grooming himself to be what we call an organic intellectual. An organic intellectual is one, in the words of a very famous Italian Marxist revolutionary called Antonio Gramsci, An organic intellectual is one who basically works for the community, who basically works for the society. So there is a community aspect also to the development of the child, to the mental development. While it restores self-confidence, self-development, dignity, fearlessness, it also gives another role to the child, that he's a part of the larger community, he's a part of the larger society. So he has some responsibility, he or she has some responsibility towards the society at large. And I'm very happy that the Arya Samaj have this noble mission of helping humanity, of going to the needs of the poor and the needy. And this value has also come to the DAV schools, that you also have similar programs to help out the poor and the needy, to help out people in distress, to go out to affected areas and give humanitarian aid. That is also a great value which you instill in the students through that. Then you come to Sri Aurobindo, a giant in the world of spirituality. And Sri Aurobindo told about integral education. Very new concept, integral education. Integral education is an education which starts from the very birth of the child till his death. That is integral education. In every stage of his life, he is learning, he is imbibing something. In fact, Sri Aurobindo says that even before the child is born, when the child is in the mother's womb, he is learning, he started to learn. So it behoves on the mother to instill values at that stage also to the child in her womb. And the child develops from there. And he called it different stages of growth, different development of the child. And he said that starts from drabya in the womb, and then goes through various stages, manas, atimanas, and then Satchit Anand, which is the reflection, which is the character of pure Brahman, as we say in the Vedas also. So he was also a Vedantin. But let us now contrast with these, Indian philosopher, educationists. I left Gandhi out because Gandhi also has said a lot about child's education, that he should develop all the faculties latent within him. He should develop. And he should develop in such a manner that he becomes an asset to the society. That was Mahatma Gandhi. Let me now go over some Western educationists and see how they look at education, because it's important for you to distinguish between Eastern thought and Western thought in the same process of forming the child from the very early age up to when he grows up and becomes an adult and becomes a responsible, organic citizen of the society. I will take two cases, two educationists who I, in my esteem, have held them very high. One is an American educationist by the name of John Dewey. If you have heard his name, he also belonged to the later part of the 20th century, 19th and 20th century, John Dewey. He is an American. His fundamental contribution to education was that he equated education with democracy. He said democracy and education are two sides of the same coin. That is a very fundamental concept which Dewey introduced. Why? You would ask why. And let me tell you, my dear students, never stop asking why. Never. Keep on asking why until you go to the root of the problem. That criticality, that critical thinking, that critical approach to life's problem is a fundamental asset for you. Never believe what anybody says without asking why. Ask questions always. Keep on asking questions until you come to a satisfactory response. So Dewey, in equating democracy and education, he makes a very fundamental contribution to pedagogy. And then he goes on to expound what he means by that. Democracy in the classroom, he equates with democracy in the society. Please try to understand this concept. How is democracy equated with education? Because education happens in the classroom, and democracy is also in the classroom, because in the classroom, everybody is equal, irrespective of your standing in the society, irrespective of your background, irrespective of your individual endowment, individual value in the society, irrespective of your class, caste, gender, status. Everybody is equal in the classroom, and democracy believes in equality. Democracy believes in freedom. Democracy believes in cutting down the hierarchical structures of the society. And so does education. Education also is the greatest leveler, that it does not distinguish between poor and rich. Poor and rich come to the same classroom. The caste, high caste and low caste, come to the same classroom, where the classroom is open, the ideal classroom. We have seen all that happen in pre-independent India, where you had a very rigid hierarchy. It doesn't anymore. It doesn't anymore. Thanks to our constitution makers, and above all, thanks to the chairman of the drafting committee of the Constitution, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. B.R. Ambedkar's seminal contribution was towards breaking down these hierarchical caste structures and politically empowering this so-called low caste people, Harijan, who Gandhiji called Harijan. But Harijan is not the solution to ending inequality in the society, to me. Giving them an elevated name that they are people of God does not make them equal to those who manipulate God. So, Ambedkar went one step further. He called for complete annihilation of caste. Caste should not exist. And he built a constitution. He drafted, he was chairman of the drafting committee, and there were about 300 very distinguished leaders of that time who were part of the drafting committee, which went more than 3 years to draft the Indian Constitution, which is the hallmark of democracy, Indian democracy. And we all take inspiration from our Constitution. And I think all of you should know by now what the Constitution stands for. And I would call upon the teachers to hold special classes on the value of the Indian Constitution, what the Indian Constitution is. In today's time, it's very important to interpret the Constitution and to see whether the Constitution is actually applying to situations which are happening in India, whether the Constitution is being followed or not, whether people are obeying whatever is written in the Constitution or not. For example, the Constitution speaks about fundamental rights. Fundamental rights, which is a part of the basic structure of the Constitution, along with many other things in the Constitution. Elections, for example, holding free and fair elections. But we just saw the last elections, how free and fair it was. We saw that. To those of you who are privy to the media, to social media, to other influencers, to YouTubers, these are the modern terms. We didn't know this thing called YouTuber or influencer and all that. We are hearing them now. But all of you are exposed to all of them. And you would have seen how the elections was conducted. That there was a discrepancy of 5 crore votes, which the Association of Democratic Reforms, ADR, and a few other NGOs have gone to court about. That 5 crore votes were not accounted for. And the Election Commission has till today not given a satisfactory response what happened to that 5 crore votes, which were given, which were put in the box, but it was not polled. It was not officially stated. In fact, After the first phase, where the enumeration came out 11 days after the first phase was over, the second phase, nothing was told about the second phase. No voting result was told to anybody. This opacity in the system today has to be countered with clear, concise thinking which grows out of a critical approach towards the society. That is my call to you, that this critical, and I will give you another reference of another person. By the way, Dr. Ambedkar was a student of John Dewey in Columbia University. And he was greatly influenced by John Dewey's philosophy, because that philosophy of democracy and education, he said, progressive education. He called it progressive education, which means the human brain so progressive as to look outwards and reform himself and to transform himself. So he called that progressiveness Ambedkar imbibed in his study of the Indian caste structure. He himself belonged to a Dalit caste, Mahar caste, and he was trying to find out why there is so much of oppression, why there is so much of hierarchy within the Indian society, why should they be so much exploited over ages and ages, what has Hinduism brought in? You know, the Hinduism which flows out of perennially from a civilization of yore, of antiquity. This has also given exploitation in the society in the form of these castes being exploited for centuries. Ambedkar worked on that. And he said that you need to be actually transformed. So in his speech, just after the Constitution was drafted, I think it was in November 1949, his very famous speech, he says that we have achieved political democracy because we have given to the Indian citizen the right to vote. And mind you, India was among the first countries to give the right to vote on the very first day of being a republic. Voting right came decades after the most powerful democracy in the world, USA. Voting right to women came much later. To UK and to other European countries came much later. But in India, it came on the very first day when India became a republic, on 26 January 1950. We got one man, one woman, one vote. Our women were empowered to vote on the very first day of the Indian Republic. As the first election, 1952, both Indian men and women voted in the very first election. So we got the franchise. But Ambedkar says it is just political democracy. We still haven't got social or economic democracy. We are still far from it. We are still very far from it. We do not have social democracy. We have turbulence in the society. We have innumerable social issues. And of course, economic, the better said, the less said, the better, because you see humongous inequality in the society. You see joblessness, rampant joblessness in the society, unemployment. You are all looking for good placements in the society. You are all looking for jobs because most of us, most of the student community comes from the middle class segment in the society, and they look for jobs, for employment, and there is very little scope of employment in today's time. The economy has been geared towards serving the interests of a particular class of people, which we call, in other words, crony capitalists. The crony capitalists, and it's no surprise that 1% of the Indian population has cornered 50% or 45% of Indian resources, just 1% of India's population, whereas the bottom 50% have hardly 15% of the national resources of India. It's a huge contradiction, and all these should be studied critically, should be analyzed critically. The focus should be on why this is happening. And that's why I said, ask why all the time, so that you get the answers yourself. The teacher will be your guide. Your teacher will be your guide. Your teacher will be your friend. As another very famous educationist, again from the South American continent, called Paulo Freire. If you have heard his name, I'm sure many of the teachers would know about him. Paulo Freire, he was a Brazilian. He was from Brazil. He brought out a revolutionary theory of education. In fact, he worked for years with the peasantry in Brazil. He was thrown out of Brazil because of his revolutionary ways. He was a Marxist. He believed in caste struggle. And he had to leave Brazil, his own country. He went to Chile. He went to Bolivia. He went to USA. And then after 20 years, he came back to Brazil in a senior position. Paulo Freire. What does Paulo Freire say? Paulo Freire says that education should incite the critical consciousness of the student. Criticality is the most important point for the student. That you have to be critical of what is going in the prevailing status quo. Question the status quo and question what is happening in the status quo. And he said he was against the so-called banking system of education. In his seminal work, Pedagogy of the Oppressed. You must read that book. It is a book to be read by students, by teachers, by everybody. It's called Pedagogy of the Oppressed. He comes out very strongly against this banking system of education, where he says that if you go to a bank, you open a deposit, you keep some money in the deposit, and the person across the counter, he receives your money and keeps it in the deposit. Education shouldn't be like that. Education shouldn't be a depositor and a person who takes the deposit. That means there is somewhere a place where you just go and hold it. Just asset is hidden in the deposit. No. He says that you should produce your own wealth. You should produce your own wealth. You should not go to the bank to deposit. There should be no depository there. He rebelled against this banking system of education. He said, the classroom should not be a bank. Children come with their ideas. Teachers have to work with the students. And he said, the relationship between the teacher and the student shouldn't be horizontal. Teacher above, student below. No. He said the relationship between the teacher and the student should be horizontal, not vertical. Which means the teacher and the student have to learn and teach from each other. Learn and teach. And grow. And grow as organic intellectuals of the society. Go on to perform your roles. So he gives equal weightage to the teacher in the classroom along with the students, and how they should grow up in confluence with various ideas which come to them, and how they should apply. And he says there are several stages where teachers will interact with the students. First, of course, is problem posing, that you pose a problem. You do not say the solution to the problem, you pose a problem. And then you put your critical faculty to it. What is that problem about? How can I get over this problem? So you come to a solution. Then you pose your solution. And after having posed the solution, you draw up a plan of action. So you go from there. These are the various stages he enumerates where the class can be an enlightened space for critical thought, for critical action. So there are many aspects of education which you need to assimilate from various thinkers, from various practitioners of education, from various philosophers who have come to us as guides, who have come to us and made us to think about what's going on in the society today. Any kind of social or economic distress or crisis today has to be analyzed critically. And that is the role of students. which will help you grow up in the society. Be a part of the society, because after all, you are all social. You have to go and be a part of the society. You have to critically analyze each and every process which has its own dynamics in the society. So I think I have taken much of your time, and I wish you all the very best in your vocation in life, in your future. And I thank Madam Ipsita, the principal, the esteemed principal of this very hallowed institution, for having invited me to come and be a part of your 53rd Foundation Day. And I thank all of you for giving me a patient hearing. Before I know my time is up. I will end with, again, a Vedic hymn which comes from Ishopanishad, where we call ourselves full, and we call ourselves that fullness that is like an ocean. If you take a bucket of water out of an ocean, it becomes full. And then when you leave the bucket back into the ocean, it becomes full again. So fullness is life. And it says, Purnamadam Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasa Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashisate. So whatever you see in life is always full. So you are just a part of that full, but you are that full. So with these words, I thank you once again very much. Thank you.
Sir, I kindly request you to remain on the stage while I invite Regional Director, Sir, esteemed Sir Dr. K.C. Satpathy, and respected Principal, Ma'am Mrs. Ipshita Das, on the stage for the further felicitations. Sir, I kindly request you to remain on stage. Sir, we are hugely, immensely thankful for your presence, for your enriching and profound reflections. Thank you for taking us to our roots, for reminding us of all the legends whose legacy the educationists and all the leaders who have laid the foundation of a free, independent India. And for that, we offer a humble token of appreciation in the form of a graceful uttariya, which is a mark of our respect. And the idols of the Trinity, for someone who himself hails from the land of Lord Jagannath. We hope these souvenirs of our gratefulness would remind you of this ecstatic occasion. Thank you so much, sir. I request all the dignitaries to kindly remain on the stage for the further felicitations. Now, it is not unhidden that students of DAV Unit 8 are well recognized for their excellence not only in academics, but also in co-curricular and extracurricular events in regional, national, as well as international level. Today's occasion is the most opportune moment to felicitate 4 such students who have displayed their prowess in the arena of quizzing. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together as I invite the dynamic team of quizzers, Pratyush Dhal of class 9, Sai Arush Das of class 9, Tripathi Divyajyoti Senapati of class 10, and Chirag Malik of class 12. Kindly let the applause keep going. Give them a big round of applause. They have clinched the Champions Trophy of the very prestigious Metal Meat Quiz 2024 conducted by Odisha Post and have been awarded a check of 1 lakh rupees. So here you see the beaming quizzers receiving their trophy with a beaming smile on their face and a huge check of a huge prize money. Congratulations to the quiz team of DAV Unit 8. august audience that the students of this institution do not leave any stone unturned when it comes to winning accolades for the school as well as for the state. Let's welcome the meritorious students who have scored in the national level Olympiad conducted by the DAV College Managing Committee in February 2024. Coming up first is Divyanshu Panda. Please give him a big round of applause. Divyanshu Panda here of class 8 had scored a remarkable score of 91% in Science Olympiad. Congratulations, Divyanshu. Olympiads in science, maths, ICT and English and other subjects are conducted by the DAV-CAE to hone the skills of academics amongst our students. This is Divyanshu Panda. Congratulations. He is receiving a medal and a certificate. Next we have Tripathi Divyajyoti Senapati of class 9. Once again an academic scholar and a quizzer with a stupendous score of 93% in Science Olympiad. Please give him a huge round of applause. Next is Priyank Chena of class 9 with a brilliant 90 Science Olympiad. Priyank is absent. And now please welcome Sambhuti Vijaya of class 8. Yes, he is present here. Sambhuti Vijaya of class 8, everyone. Please give him a huge round of applause. He had scored 90% in Maths Olympiad. These Olympiads are conducted in all the schools of DAV and it is a national level competition and our students have excelled in it. This seems to be a befitting occasion to honor them. Thank you. Congratulations to all the prize winners. Michelle Obama had once said, "There is no magic spell for achievement. It is really about hard work, choices and persistence." And on this joyous occasion, I am elated to announce the names of some of our staff members who have made a conscious choice to dedicate their lives with unswerving devotion and conviction to bring this venerated organization to its zenith. Thus, on completion of 25 years of their service, the school managing committee has decided to felicitate them with a humble token of appreciation. So please give a huge round of applause as I invite Ma'am Mrs. Bindushri Das. Ma'am Mrs. Bindushri Das, a veteran from Odia department. May I invite ma'am to the stage to be felicitated by our esteemed dignitaries for her dedicated service. Can we hear it loud for our beloved Bindushri ma'am? She is being felicitated with a shawl and a memento as a sign of gratitude and recognition of her service. Congratulations, Bindushri ma'am. Next, may I invite Ma'am Mrs. Bidumitra Mohanty, a beloved teacher from the Department of Science, who has also completed 25 long years of service in DAV. It is truly commendable to dedicate each and every day of 25 years to an organization and needs a lot of dedication and devotion. Here we have Vidumitra ma'am receiving a shawl and a memento for her dedicated service. with the teachers. We also have a very strong community of support staff who have provided their constant assistance to the administrative and academic machinery of the school. So please welcome Mr. Benudhar Nayak. Can we hear it loud for Mr. Benudhar Nayak, who has worked as a diligent support staff in various capacities for the last 25 years. The very humble Benu Bhaina, as we know him fondly, and the students must have seen him on the corridors most often, has given his 25 years of life to this organization and to support us. Congratulations. Next is Mr. Vijay Behera, another hard-working and tenacious, and applause shows the fondness that the students have for him. So here we have Mr. Vijay Behera, a hard-working, tenacious person who has always been there to render a hand of help. This is a show of our gratitude and appreciation towards all the hard-working staff. And lastly, I invite Mr. Krishna Patra, who has also been a great help to the institution. Yes, the students are really fond of dedicated staff members. Mr. Krishna Patra, who has also been a great help to this institution in the last 25 years. As you can see, consistency, perseverance and dedication always bears fruit. This felicitation is a way to express our heartfelt gratitude for your selfless services. Congratulations to all the recipients of this felicitation ceremony. May I now request the dignitaries to take their seats off the dais. Thank you.
Now, without any further ado, let's create an environment of rhythm, grace, and harmony with a dance recital to be performed by our dear students. It is our way of saying that this day, this moment, and this celebration is as much yours as it is ours. Please put your hands together as I invite our gifted budding performers of the day.
Odisha, the unstoppable force, welcomes you. Come, grow with Juggernaut and roll with the wheels of new dreams, hopes, and opportunities. Madhava, the Sabara deity, was taken from the tribal kingdom to Puri to be worshipped as Lord Jagannath. Here, traditions inspire and evolve.
किसो भागो कुंजे मदन मोहन जहाँ रे रणमितड़ी
Education is power. Read, lead, and succeed.
वेदमनुच्चाचार्योऽन्ते वासिनमनुशास्ति सत्यं वद धर्मं चर स्वाध्यायान् मा प्रमदः आचार्याय प्रियं धनमाहृत्य प्रजातन्तुं मा व्यवच्छेत्सि प्रमदितव्यम् बोध्यैन प्रमदितव्यम् स्वाध्याय प्रवचनाभ्यां न प्रमदितव्यम् देवविदायाभ्यां न
शिक्षार भूमि ओडिशा भूमि शिक्षार भूमि ओडिशा भूमि बुद्ध बुद्धि विद्या विहार वेद विज्ञान कमी बुद्ध बुद्धि विद्या विहार वेद विज्ञान कमी जहि शिक्षार ध्येय स्वराज्य अस्वलंबन जहि शिक्षार ध्येय जहि शिक्षार ध्येय जहि शिक्षार ध्येय जहि शिक्षार ध्येय
ବଡ଼ ସରସ ବଡ଼ ସରସ ବିଲୁଆ ବଡ଼ ଚତୁର ପଇଡ଼ ବଡ଼ ମଧୁର ବିଲୁଆ ବଡ଼ ଚତୁର ପଇଡ଼ ବଡ଼ ମଧୁର ବିଲୁଆ ବଡ଼ ଚତୁର ପଇଡ଼ ବଡ଼ ମଧୁର ବଉଳ ଫୁଲର ବାସ ଚହଟାଇ ଚୌବାସ ଲୋ ଚହଟାଇ ଚୌବାସ Arise, awaken, come to the land where wisdom is a legacy, to the land that evokes knowledge, to the land that nurtures values, the land as ancient as time. Odisha, Odisha, Odisha.
Education transforms. It has scripted the inspiring journey of the daughter of this soil, our first citizen, from Rairangpur to Raisina Hill.
सा गरे ग सा गरे ग नी रे सा रे पा नी रे सा गरे ग सा गरे ग नी रे सा गढ़ू गढ़ू सबु दिसे सुंदर गढ़ू गढ़ू सबु दिसे सुंदर माटी रे गढ़ू काठरे गढ़ू कंसारे गढ़ू पथरे गढ़ू माटी रे गढ़ू काठरे गढ़ू कंसारे गढ़ू पथरे गढ़ू ଗଢୁ ଗଢୁ ସବୁ ଦିଶେ ସୁନ୍ଦର ବୁଣୁ ବୁଣୁ ଏଠି ଦିବ୍ୟ ସୁନ୍ଦର ଗଢୁ ଗଢୁ ସବୁ ଦିଶେ ସୁନ୍ଦର ବୁଣୁ ବୁଣୁ ଏଠି ଦିବ୍ୟ ସୁନ୍ଦର ଆଙ୍କି ଦେଲେ ଚିତ୍ର କହନ୍ତି କଥା ଆଙ୍କି ଦେଲେ ଚିତ୍ର କହନ୍ତି କଥା ମାଟିର କଥା ତତଲା ଲୁହାରେ ଢଳା କବିତା ତତଲା ଲୁହାରେ ଢଳା କବିତା ତତଲା ଲୁହାରେ ଢଳା କବିତା ତତଲା ଲୁହାରେ ଢଳା କବିତା.
It is not about skills. It is about human transformation. Skills give us identity. Skills define who we are.
On your land, the name and fame, the spirit of valor is deep in the blood. The greatness of glory is the song of your soul. So play the game, fair and square. So play the game, fair and square.
Tintorandita.
Odisha, the un-
What an exhilarating performance, wasn't that? What is harmony? What is symphony and juxtaposition of modernity and tradition? May I have another round of thundering applause for our budding performers? Now, as we have reached the conclusion of this glorious event, it is time to express our sincere and heartfelt gratitude to everyone who contributed wholeheartedly to make this event a remarkable one. To express the vote of thanks, I invite Assistant School Leader Pragya Raj Raut, and I will take my gracious leave. Thank you, everyone.
A very warm good afternoon to all esteemed dignitaries, honored guests, respected teachers, parents, and my dear friends. As we draw this memorable celebration of our school's 53rd Foundation Day to a close, I, Pragyan Raj Raut, feel an esteemed privilege as the assistant school leader to deliver the vote of thanks. Today has been a day of reflection, celebration, and deep appreciation, and I'm honored to acknowledge those whose contributions have made this occasion a resounding success. To begin with, I would like to extend our profound gratitude to our chief guest, Honorable Ambassador Dr. Malay Mishra, retired IFS, for gracing us with his esteemed presence. Your enlightening words have not only inspired us, but also provided invaluable insights that will guide us in our journey forward. Our sincere thanks go to Dr. K.C. Satpathy, Regional Director of DAV Institutions, Odisha. Sir, your unwavering support and visionary leadership continue to be a beacon for all of us, motivating us to strive for greater heights. We are also deeply grateful to Dr. Sujata Sahu, Principal cum RO of DAV Public School, Chandrasekharpur, for her continuous encouragement and exemplary leadership. Your dedication to our educational mission is truly commendable, Madam. A special acknowledgement to our chairman, Sir Sri Santosh Upadhyay, in absentia, as well as to the chairman of our esteemed DAV schools and the distinguished members of the school management committee from Cuttack, Bhubaneswar, and neighboring regions. Your steadfast commitment and tireless efforts have been instrumental in the ongoing success and growth of our institutions. We extend our heartfelt thanks to our principal madam, Ms. Ipsita Das, for her strong leadership and visionary ideals that has once again added one more successful chapter in our school's golden timeline. To all the honorable dignitaries of our sister concerns, we appreciate their collaboration and dedication to enrich our collective endeavors and uphold the high standards of our educational community. Our deepest gratitude goes to all the PTCC and SMC members, the supervisors and staff from our sister institutions in Bhubaneswar. Your ongoing support and commitment are invaluable to the flourishing of our educational endeavors. We are also thankful to Dr. Siddharth Rai, President of the DAV Old Students Association, for his unwavering support and dedication in strengthening the bond among our alumni and the school. Our heartfelt thanks to the team of doctors from Sunshine Hospital and the team from Capital Hospital for their collaboration in organizing the health checkup camp for our staff. Your commitment to our community's well-being is greatly valued. A warm thank you to our esteemed Srimati Pratibha Mishra for her benign presence and blessings for our institution. To Mrs. Jhanjha Das, our talented storyteller, we express our gratitude for your captivating narrations that enriched the morning session and left a lasting impression on everyone. Our sincere appreciation goes to the members of our Havan department, cultural team, school choir, accompanists, and the dance troupe. Your artistic talents and performances have added vibrancy and joy to our celebrations, showcasing the rich cultural tapestry of our school. A big thank you to our technical team and IT department for their seamless execution and support, ensuring that today's event proceeded without a hitch. To all our dedicated teachers and students, thank you for your tireless efforts, creativity, and enthusiasm in preparing for this event. Your hard work is the backbone of our success. A special anchor to the anchor for their elegance and grace in hosting this event. Lastly, but by no means the least, I extend a heartfelt thank to all who took part in today's event directly or indirectly. Your valuable contributions behind the scenes are the foundation upon which we build our success and are deeply grateful on behalf of the entire school. Together, let us continue to uphold the values of our school and strive for excellence in all our endeavors. Thank you all once again, and may you all have a splendid afternoon.